Guys, I come with bad news. Today is the day they're going to kick me out of this building. God, I have no proof, but no doubts either. Well, I do have some proof. Look at this beast we have over here. It's the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus, a real monster. And we also have the Soundcore Boom 2 over there. What I'm gonna do in this video is share my experience after testing both devices. I'll tell you what I think about them, which one I recommend, which one I don't, what things I liked, and absolutely everything. If you want to know more, you know what to do. Come here to TechGround. Well, let's get started. I was joking at the beginning about getting kicked out, but I'm not really joking because I'll tell you now that testing these two devices, both the big one and the small one, which I'll show you in just a moment, one of their main features is their very strong bass. That's one of their main attributes for both of them, okay? The big one and the small one. And I'll tell you, testing them indoors is limited because when you activate the bass and start turning up the volume to 30 to 40% on this one and 50% on that one, the whole house literally starts shaking. So to fully unleash them, I had to go outside, literally, to avoid having the neighbor come down to my apartment again. So with that said, I'll tell you about the different features of each one, the differences, things I liked and did not like. Let's start with the unboxing, super quickly. I don't want to dwell on this too much. We have two boxes of different sizes, obviously, and in the case of the Boom 2, inside we only find a USB Type-C double-ended charger, and we also have the speaker itself. That's it, that's all we have inside the box. And in the case of the bigger Boom 2 Plus, not much changes. We have a USB Type-C cable, but also this strap that allows us to transport the speaker much more easily. So, USB Type-C, the strap, and the speaker. With that said, let's start with the most obvious differentiating feature between the two, the size. We have two speakers of completely different sizes and completely different weights. Just look at the size of this Boom 2 Plus, and I'll get the other one so you can see. Here we have the Boom 2, the normal one, and look at the size difference and also the weight difference between the two. In fact, holding them like this, I can tell that I won't be able to hold the big one for long, but I can hold the small one much longer. This one is about 4 kilograms, and this one is about 1 kilogram and a bit, approximately. Despite their sizes, their distribution and aesthetics are very similar, although they differ in some things. The two models they sent me to try out are both in black, but they also come in two other options, blue and green, which I personally find much more attractive than the black one. I usually like basic black for most devices, but for these speakers I think the blue and the green are much more appealing. Both speakers have different sized grills on the sides, which of them, and all of them, they implement the LED lights. All the lighting on both speakers will be coming from the sides. The lighting function works the same in both cases and can be controlled either with a button we'll see later or from the app, which we will also see in a bit. They have different modes, different colors, etc. On the front, we have the Soundcore logo, which looks a lot like the TikTok logo. And at the top, both speakers have the same button layout. A power button, a button to connect the speakers via Bluetooth to our mobile phone, computer, or whatever device we want, volume up and down buttons, and buttons to change the song. And then we have these two interesting buttons over here. The first one allows us to activate party mode, or the specific name for this function that I cannot remember at this time, which will allow us to link multiple devices at once. Listen closely, up to 100 devices at once. They don't all have to be the same Boom 2 speakers. They can be Boom 2, Boom 2 Plus, or other speakers from the Soundcore brand. It's not necessary for them to be the same model. Again, you can connect 100 devices. You don't just throw a party with that. With that, you can throw a whole festival with 100 devices. Lastly, we have the bass up button, one of the main features I mentioned before. It gives the speaker more power, more bass, more boom. This doesn't mean that when it's off it has no bass, because it does. I'll tell you how much it has with and without this option later, but this button is basically like putting nitro in a car. It brings the speaker to its maximum level. The maximum level for the Boom 2 alone is 80 watts, which is a lot, truly a lot. And for the Boom 2 Plus, listen up closely, it's 140 watts, which is truly insane. I'm telling you, indoors at 20-30%, it's already very loud, more than enough. And if you're in party mode, you can turn it up more, but for high volume at home, 20-30% is very loud. We will do the audio tests in a bit. The wattage coming from each of these speakers are ordered as such. In the case of the Boom 2, it comes with a 50-watt bass speaker, complemented by 2 tweeters, each with 15 watts of power. Moving on to the Beast, the monster in question, it has 2 bass speakers, each with 50 watts, plus 2 tweeters with 20 watts each. In fact, the Boom 2 has 50, 15, and 15 watts with the bass up activated. If we deactivate this feature, the bass instead of 50 would give us 40 watts of powers, and the tweeters would give out 10 and 10. In other words, 60 watts in total without bass up on, and 80 watts when we activate the feature bass up. Both speakers have IPX7 certification, making them waterproof and easy to clean with water. You can even take showers with them. Now that summer is coming up, we can go to the pool with them, even throw them into the pool without any problems at all. In fact, both devices, I haven't mentioned this just yet, on the back they have a USB Type-C port enclosed by a little flap here that has a very good seal, which will prevent water from coming into these ports if we ever take the speaker to the pool. Also, enclosed by this same flap, we have the USB-C port, as I just mentioned, and also a USB-A port. The USB-C port is for charging the speaker with the double-ended USB-C cable the speaker came with, and the USB-A lets you use the speaker, both the small one and the big one, as a power bank. If you run out of battery, you can connect your mobile device to the USB-A and poof, it works as a very good power bank. Having said that, let's talk about the Soundcore application. A key piece for enjoying our speakers to the very fullest. As you can see, I already have both speakers connected, both my Boom 2 and Boom 2 Plus. Here we have the Boom 2 connected, which I left back there to show you the LEDs and how they work. And if we want to access extra features from the application, we simply click over here. At the top, we see the speakers, the little speaker's battery status, the amount of battery it still has over there. And we click here and we can access the rest of these features. From here, we can control the volume very easily. Be careful setting it to max and hitting play because it's insane, truly insane. Actually, you can't listen to it, but let's just do it. God, literally I walked right into that one, and even I said it before, be careful with how loud it is gonna be, but yeah, I walked into it, straight into it. Now, moving on. On this main tab, besides being able to adjust the volume, we have the equalizer, which is generally preset, but if we want to make personalized adjustments, we can set it up however we prefer. For those who are more knowledgeable about music, you will be able to do some amazing things here. And if we go back, the other option, especially the most interesting option, is the lighting option. And here we can change the different modes, colors, and so on. First, the brightness is at maximum, and we can lower it. Like here, as you can see, it has significantly decreased. Obviously, the more we do without this very function, the more battery life we will have. It's obvious, right? So let's set it to maximum so it's more visible. And we can change, for example, the different modes, like my flash mode, flame mode, and many more modes. Currently, without music, the effect is less noticeable, but it can still be appreciated. Directly here with this button, we can turn off the lighting completely, and you can also play around a bit with the settings that you prefer the most. If we go up here, we have some more settings. The speaker alert is basically that it makes a sound every time the speaker turns on or off. And then the brightness button essentially refers to the illuminated buttons that we saw earlier. These are backlit buttons, and you can choose to turn them on or off. This will obviously consume more battery, but it consumes very little. And if you're in low light conditions, having those backlit buttons is quite appreciated. Then there's the auto power off feature. We can preset it to turn off automatically if the speaker is not being used to save some battery. Alright, it's time. Let's get to the sound tests. I won't do them live because they have actually been pre-recorded because it's already very late. You've seen this can be very loud. I've done the tests already and it makes no sense to do them once again at this time of night. I'm being very serious with you all. So I'll show you the test with both speakers, none of them surpassing 50% volume. I'm telling you, There's no need for more volume. It even is bothersome to surpass these particular thresholds while inside. For maximum enjoyment, you need to go outside. And in the case of the Boom 2 Plus, I'll have it around 30%, more or less. I'll also activate and deactivate the bass up option so that you can see the difference. Alright, having done the sound tests, as I always say, what you just heard doesn't correspond to reality. You're listening to a speaker through a screen, a video, which is not the same as feeling it in this room here, noticing the vibrations here. It's completely different, but at least you get an idea and somewhat of a reference. But again, it's absolutely different. Now, we must talk about price and conclusions. I'll go back to how I started the video. These are two speakers with very good, very powerful bass, which is unusual to find in the market at such affordable prices, which, interestingly, is the case here. The Boom 2 costs around 130 euros, the selling price here in Spain. You know that these may vary as some websites may have some discounts. 130 euros for the Boom 2, and the Boom 2 Plus, the big one, costs around 200 euros. These prices stand out to me because in the United States, the Boom 2 Plus costs $250, and the Boom 2 costs around 130 bucks. In essence, the Boom 2 Plus is cheaper per the exchange rate in the USA in regards to Europe. It stands out to me. It is true that the euro is worth less, but in the case of the Boom 2, they haven't priced it for a lesser price than the one sold in the USA. I'm not sure about the reason, I do not know if they will change this in the future, but just know that if you're choosing either option for the Boom 2 Plus, it is preferable to buy it here. However, I don't think it's necessary to buy the Boom 2 Plus. I believe it's a device that sounds astonishing, but you must analyze if you're really gonna put it to good use, if you really need such power. For a day-to-day use, at least for me, I will value more having a device that is smaller, more manageable, more portable, lighter in weight, and will still have loads of power in there. However, if you want one of the most powerful speakers, buying the Boom 2 Plus makes sense. If not, then the Boom 2 seems like a heck of a device for just 130 euros. As always, I'll leave all the links to these devices in the description. If there's any discount or something similar, it'll be there as well. And as I always tell you, I want to know all of your opinions. I always read and reply to each and all of you down in the comments, so feel free to leave your opinions and tell me what you guys thought about this. That's it, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.